Dès sa première apparition à l'écran, dans Le Carrefour de la mort de Henry Hathaway, en 1947, Richard Widmark s'inventait d'un coup un personnage de tueur psychopathe. C'est ce gros plan qui allait décider de toute sa carrière.
You think a squealer can get away from me? Huh? You know what I do to squealers?
36 ans après, Richard Widmark interviewé sur le tournage de son 75e film.
Well, Jack Ford, Elia Kazan were two of my favorite directors, and Henry Hathaway also. I made about 6 pictures with him. Fuller, I made 2 pictures with him. And I didn't pay much attention to them at the time. They were kind of quick pictures, you know. But strangely enough, in later years, they've gotten kind of a cult following, and I think a stronger cult following in France than here. So Sammy has become a cult figure. Another fellow that I enjoyed working with very much, but it's more recent, about 15 years ago, is Don Siegel. We made a picture called Madigan. And after that picture, he became kind of a cult figure. So I don't quite understand all that, but I'm glad to see that they are cults.
But you said you liked to work with them, but as an actor, I mean, the way they directed you, or like personalities?
Yeah, it was a combination. Some pictures you enjoyed more than others because of the combination of people. The director, if he was very good and you trusted him, makes a great difference. So each picture is different and has different remembrances for me on whether I liked it or I can remember back, well, I didn't enjoy that so much. But they were all for different reasons. Every picture you start, it's a whole new thing, and it's like starting a whole new career over. Even at this late date, I think I've made about, I don't know, 70 or 75. I've never really counted, but each picture you do, it's starting all over again. You come in with an entirely new group of people, and it's very difficult. First days are just terrible. Like on this picture, I didn't know anybody but Jane Greer, and I hadn't seen her in 28 years.
You had made a film?
We worked together in a picture called Run for the Sun, directed by Roy Boulding, an Englishman, 28 years ago, and we'd only bumped into each other very briefly twice in all that time. She was the only person I knew on the picture. I didn't know Hackford, the director. I didn't know anybody. So you come in that first day, and even after that many pictures, it's shaky time. I remember Jimmy Stewart and I made a picture called Two Rode Together with Jack Ford, and it was our first day. And I turned to Jimmy, and I said, "Is your mouth dry?" He says, "It's full of cotton." You know, those first days, I don't think anybody ever gets over them. They're kind of like an opening night in New York. But after the first day, then it kind of all falls into a routine, and you've done it so many times, it's just the same old thing you've been doing for 40 years.
There's a film that is very well liked and also has run recently in France. Fuller's film, Pick Up on South Street.
Yeah.
How did Fuller turn you into a pickpocket? I mean, like, instructed you? I mean, did he...
He didn't instruct me about anything. I just did it. It was in the script.
Well, yeah, but the technique of, you know...
No.
That's...
The auteur theater and the theory about directors guiding the actor is baloney. The one thing that the director can do is cast it properly. No director can teach you to act. He can create an area for you to perform in a comfortable area, but nobody can teach you to do anything. He casts you for the part, and if you're cast properly, he can create that atmosphere that you are able to work in. If he has taste, he's a good backboard. He said too much, too little, and so forth. But no director can make an actor. A cutter can. Cut out all the bad things.
Not even a man like Kazan, for instance.
Well, Kazan is different. He's an old friend of mine, and we worked together in the theater, as well as we made one movie called Panic in the Streets. He was a wonderful actor himself, and he is absolutely the best actor's director that ever was. He's kind of a Svengali. He has an instinct, and he never works the same way with each actor. Each actor is different. In that picture was Paul Douglas and Barbara Bel Geddes, Jack Palance. He would talk to Palance one way, he'd talk to Douglas one way, Barbara another way, me another way. He's a marvelous, marvelous actor's director, but he is a rarity. Most directors have never acted. They come from cutting, they come from film school, they don't know anything about acting, really. So they really don't know, and it's very difficult for 90% of actors, of directors, to really communicate with an actor, to understand his problems, and to know what he's after. And that's where Kazan was a past master. He was great at dealing with actors. Ford was not good with actors, but he was a poet with the camera. Visually, I think he was the finest movie director ever. He was a real poet, but he had a very primitive sense of actors. You know, there was the leading man, there was the heavy, there was the in-between woman. So, but he was a marvelous filmmaker.
What kind of direction would he give you, for instance? I mean, what sort of direction? I mean, with a...
Nothing. He cast you for the part, and that's all. You do it, you know your trade, that's what you're hired for. He never liked to do more than one take, sometimes two if he had to. And he never looked through the lens. He knew exactly what he had. He never went to rushes. And he was probably one of the finest visual filmmakers that ever was. He was terrific.
What is a good director for you?
You can tell a good director in about 5 minutes. Doesn't take longer. If you've been around at all, you spot a director in 5 minutes. Maybe less.
And if you have made the wrong choice accepting a job, what do you do?
What?
If you have done the wrong choice, I mean...
I've made many wrong choices. That's part of the trade.